The idea of reintroducing forest guards in Nigeria has been mooted by many analysts as a possible antidote to the prevailing menace of banditry across the expansive swathe of northern Nigeria, as well as the thick forest of the south, where all manners of non-state actors are always known to operate from. To what extent governments at different levels have taken a proactive view of recommendations to that effect, however, remains a discussion for another day. But with the imminent inauguration of Bola Tinubu as president, a group called the Northern Christian Youth Professionals is ready to make the call for the establishment of forest guards more resonant. The group seeks to key into Tinubu's pledge to use forest guards to fight insurgency and terrorism, as spelled out in his campaign manifesto. To have a discussion around that, we're now being joined by Abrak, an award-winning... All right, looks like we do not have Isaac yet, but of course he will join us quite shortly. But I think that the idea that he is bringing on board, particularly through the NGO Northern Christian Youth Professionals, is actually not a bad idea at all, given the spate of insecurity, particularly in the north, and around our forests. We know of the Sambisa, troubles. We know of the Niger State, and by the way, you know that both Niger State and Borno State are the largest in terms of landmass in Nigeria, and it's usually through the forest in those states that all these atrocities either been perpetrated or people are running back to. If you come down south too, in the north of Oyo State, in Ondo State, in Ogun State, it is always people, even on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, it is usually about where the forests are. So the Northern Christian Youth Professionals are saying, let's key into what Asiwaju promised, that he will deal decisively with the issue of banditry and terror, particularly as it concerns forests. So they're now saying, let's return to the days of having forest guards, so that you have an idea that people can man these forests, areas that have long been neglected by the traditional, conventional police and military thing, because this will be a paramilitary outfit if they are returned. And I think that there's a bill in the House of Representatives already that has entered second reading. And this NGO is only just trying to key into that idea into the bill to say, let's have it. We can't have too much of security. We can't have too much of protection. Assure you, it will be in your tenure that this bill will mature so that it can be passed as an act that will return us to the days of forest guards. What do you think?
Yeah, having boots on the ground, it's always very essential. We are facing a Hydra-headed problem.
All right.
I think we have...
Yes, we have Isaac Abrak now. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isaac. Good to have you. We introduced the issues already, but if you don't mind, I can actually just quickly, for the benefit of our viewers, read a few things about you. Just a moment, please. Isaac Abrak, an award-winning expert journalist, the Reuters Best Hostile Environment Journalist in Africa for 2013, and someone that has spent a good deal of time covering some of the renowned terrorist attacks and abductions in the northern part of Nigeria, including Chibok girls and Adapchi in Yobe State. He also serves as chairman of Northern Christian Youth Professionals. So, good morning again, Abraham. Good to have you. Isaac, good to have you join us. So, talk to us about the interest that you have, that the Northern Christian Youth Professionals have, that what you are proposing to the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration as regards returning to the days of having forest guards in Nigeria, or let's say in some parts of Nigeria. Talk to us about that.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. First, please, I'd like you to permit me to re-echo our congratulations to Arise TV for having clinched the Born Best TV of the Year. It's a good thing that is happening to this station. being that it's just started about a decade ago, and it's soaring high and high.
Thank you.
As a journalist, I feel I am happy with that, and I ask that we continue to do more in terms of professionalism, in terms of journalist welfare. You're already doing more. Continue to add more value.
Thank you.
Back to the issue of the day. The Northern Christian Youth Professionals identify with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's intentions on the 1st of February this year, solely because we knew that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a knack or has a track record for using mass youth employment to curb insecurities. He did that with the creation of the Lagos State Management Transport, the Lagos State Traffic Agency, the Lagos State Waste Management Authority. All these were agencies that recruited youths in their thousands in Lagos State and took off the area boys off the street, and that was when we started experiencing a growth, an astronomical growth in the GDP of Lagos, and I would add in the IGR of Lagos State. And again, we are also very much convinced that this government can do much, because the incoming vice president, being Governor Senator Kashim Shettima, also used youth mass employment with the creation of the civilian JTF in Borno State, you know, to smoke out Boko Haram, who had charged into Borno State, even into the city of Maiduguri, you know, so much that at that very particular time, within 2012 and 2013, the government of President Goodluck Jonathan, had to declare a state of emergency in many local government areas of the state. It was this singular act that was highly responsible, you know, for the chasing out of Boko Haram, weeding them out for the nooks and crannies of Maiduguri and chasing them out, and they were forced to remain in the Sambisa forest. And as such, we are aware that most of the people perpetrating these crimes, are they Boko Haram? Are they bandits? Do you call them Fulani headsmen? Whoever they are, do you call them the separatists in the southeast? Wherever they are, they have hijacked our forests. And we, the Northern Christian Youth Professionals, we are convinced that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu fulfills his promise, and we're asking this promise to be achieved in the first 6 months of his administration, if he can establish the forest guard as an agency and train them, these forest guards, which will recruit youths from our rural areas. For instance, I give you an instance. A community was just attacked in Plateau State. The people who carried out those attacks disappeared into the forest, as they have always done all these years. Those youths in those communities, they are very much familiar with the forest which those attackers are staying. Those forests, we call them forests, but to the youths of those communities, those are their ancestral lands, those are their farmlands, and if those youths can be recruited to become forest guards, they would maneuver. They know that forest more than those bandits, because most of those bandits we know, we've come to hear, and as a journalist we have confirmed it. Most of the machineries are foreigners, and as such the youths would know these forests more than these bandits, this Boko Haram, and they will be able to track them down. They will be able to apprehend them, and in situations where they cannot do it themselves, they will collaborate with the military, just like what we had with the civilian JTF in Borno State. You know, they will collaborate with the military and have them arrested. And what we want at the end of the day is to totally chase these people out of our forests, so that we can return these forests to our farmers, so that they can farm for us and make more money and feed us more better.
All right, Isaac. A similar initiative is being pushed forward in Anambra State, where they are also seeking to institute forest guards from probably from the third quarter of this year. Are you aware of this, and are you in talks with them? Because putting up a united front, understanding that forest guards are also trying to be instituted in 5 states. I was starting off with Anambra, but in 5 states in the south, and also what you're saying in the north. Putting together a very concerted voice will certainly expedite this before the president and the relevant authorities. Are you aware of what is happening in the south? And talk to us about this.
Yes, absolutely. I am aware about what is happening in the south, and they are taking a very good initiative, because what we lacked, and what is also, and that lack is what is responsible, for all these insecurities that we have all over the north, that is spilling to the south, because we hadn't people who would guard our forests and control those fleeing from the northeast. When the Nigerian troops cracked down on Boko Haram in the northeast, they all flee all around the country. Some of them came down to my home state in Kaduna State and are behind, this high level of attacks, in the state. They have also spilled up to Plateau State and have gone even to the south, southeast, southwest, and even to the south. We are aware about attacks that were carried in Benin, in Edo State, where a certain high institution was attacked and people were abducted. So I'm saying to you that if any state, that is creating a forest guard is doing that for the benefit not just of the state, but for that of the whole country. So, and this is why we're asking to calling on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It should be a national program. The forest guard should be a national program whereby every state should, have a forest guard. And we're also calling on the state assemblies and also the national assemblies to look into this thing and fast track, any law that they will create to ensure that this thing is done. Because the issue about insecurity, sir, the issue about food insecurity in Nigeria, we are aware about what the United Nations just is saying, about the humanitarian crisis that we are going through, in the Northeast. That humanitarian crisis is as the result, of our farmers not being able to go to the farms because they are afraid of being attacked. Despite the fact that some state governors, like the governor of Borno State, has tried to relocate them, even build shelters for them. But would you go back to live in a house where you know that your surroundings is, you're surrounded by Boko Haram, your forest is, Boko Haram is there? So this is why it's important, and I commend Imo State, that they should go ahead. It's a good thing, it's a step in the right direction, and call on other states that please, this is what we need for the whole of federation.
All right, Isaac, let me put a couple of questions together so that you can address your thoughts around them. First is, where are we as regards the bill in the House of Representatives seeking to make it a federal law to have forest guards, but not just to guard the forests, as you may be aware of, but also the highways and the federal roads all over the country. That's part of what the bill in the House of Representatives is seeking. Do you know where we are on that bill? And then secondly, frankly speaking, what will be the a difference in having forest guards and then the, from what other states are already doing in terms of paramilitary security? You mentioned what Asiwaju has done in Lagos, but you know that in the same Lagos of Asiwaju, even though that was done under Akinwumi Ambode, there was the Neighborhood Safety Corps, after which the Amoteku thing came, but spread all over the southwest. Ebubeagu is there in the east. And of course, the traditional hunters at some point all over the country, particularly in the north, were used in fighting insurgency and terrorists, particularly in the forest. What will be different from those Ebubeagu, Neighborhood Safety Corps, Amotekun, from what you are proposing and the bill in the House of Representatives is proposing? And frankly speaking, yet again, how will Nigerians be sure that what the military failed to do, the military and the police that can't even secure our borders, how are we sure that guys that are not truly trained as combat experts will be able to secure our forests, given the fact that the total forest area that Nigeria has is about 7.68% of our entire landmass? That is huge. How will that happen that we can trust the forest guard? Or will this just be another job for the boys?
Thank you very much for these questions. They're actually opening up, my scope for to share with you and Nigerians what we are pushing. The bill, we understand that a bill on the establishment of a forest guard has scaled the second reading on the floor of the House of Representatives, and the bill is being sponsored by a lawmaker from Taraba State, Honorable Usman Shifi. So if the bill has scaled the second reading, it means that it is at its conclusive stage, and as such, awaits the next stage now is for the president to sign it into law. Unfortunately, we are just less than 10 days, 15 days, to the ending of this government, and so this president is leaving. But again, I've spoken to some members of the House of Representatives, and they said that if the Speaker of the House of Assembly likes this bill and sees the importance of this bill, he can fast track it for this president to sign it into law before the president leaves. Because if that does not happen, when the incoming government comes and the incoming assembly comes, the bill will have to be reintroduced again afresh. And you see, so this will take us again back, and I will start all going through all the processes again. And for the sake of Nigerians, for the sake of growth and development, the president, we call on the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajamilia, to please ensure that this bill is taken to the president, and so that the president can sign. I know that the president is a security chief, himself, a general, a warlord with a good record, of fighting insurgency in Nigeria. I'm sure that he would see the reason, for signing this thing into law, so that when the Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes in, it will be all about setting up, the establishment, recruitment, and training of our brothers and sisters into this agency. I hope I've answered that.
All right, Isaac.
Then you asked a question.
Okay, go on, Isaac. Go on, finish up.
Okay, so I want to move to your next question, which you made mention that what is the difference between other groups, such as Amotekun, who have come up, and are already doing similar jobs that we are proposing that the forest guard does. One thing I will tell you, and which I've said here, is that yes, the Amotekun is doing a good job. But as far as the Amotekun is concerned, they are restricted. They have boundaries of operation, and I believe which is just the southwest. So how much can they contain from criminals fleeing from other parts of the country, to their region? So if you have a national body, which is fighting this in all nationally and collaborating also with the Amotekuns who are also on ground, collaborating with the hunters, collaborating with the vigilantes, it's going to go a long way, in stemming this problem. And again, some of these outfits, most of their concentration, like the vigilantes, is in the cities.
All right.
We want a specific role for this agency, forests.
All right.
The Sambisa forest.
I want to say thank you very much.
The forest, yes.
I want to say thank you very much for your time. For the brevity of time, we might have to just end this discussion at this very junction. I want to say thank you very much for showing up on The Morning Show this morning.